Growing up, TV was very sitcom based, and it was in the 80s, 90s when shows like The Cosby Show or A Different World and Family Matters aired, as well as The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So that's when I was a child looking at TV. And I enjoyed these shows very much. And there was a number of shows I used to watch. Um, I'm kind of an old soul, so I would look at shows that the older people would look at because it was on TV. And this was before the internet and before streaming and what they call, yeah, streaming, because before streaming it was DVDs, before DVDs it was VCRs. So I've seen all of this, but there were shows that I used to look at that were very diverse, and I enjoyed watching the diversity on TV, meaning like there were different races of people, different themes of the show, economic statuses, and whatnot. And I was intelligent enough to know that I was watching TV and that it wasn't reality. And mainly because I was reminded that it's TV. You know, if it was from like a somebody in my family making it clear that this was TV, this is not the real world. So that's how I knew the difference. But also, I just think I knew instinctively that this is not real life. However, television does influence people, and I was influenced by what I was seeing regarding thinking about whatever the topic or theme was of the particular sitcom episode. It could have been something that I was familiar with from personal experience, or it could have been something that I learned vicariously because someone else experienced it. And it also kind of prepared me to look forward to what could happen in my life in the future, because this is possible for it to happen because it happened to someone else. So TV can influence you in that regards. But one thing that I noticed that was different from what I could personally relate to, and that was I didn't see any lesbian girls or young women on the TV. I didn't see any lesbian couples on the TV, and I didn't see any gay young boys, teenagers, or young men, and I didn't see any gay couples on the TV either. Everyone was in a heterosexual two-parent household. And I was a lesbian. I've been a lesbian for a very long time. I knew I was a lesbian before the age of 10 years old. And at that time in my life, there was no internet. There was TV, of course. I didn't grow up with cable in my house. My grandmother didn't pay for cable, but I did have other relatives who had cable. And when I was over at their house, I was able to view things on TV on cable. And still, I didn't see any lesbian girls or any gay guys on the shows. But at the recording of this video, it is the year of 2023, and we're going into 2024. in less than a month away. And although I do see lesbian or gay people on TV now and definitely on the internet, I don't show it as prevalent as I do with heterosexual people. So, my question is, for the sake of this video, I named the title, Is TV and the Internet Making People Gay? I'm going to address that now. My name is Giselle Wallace, lesbian life coach and author. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share my content. I would love to have you here as a part of the community that I like to share content with concerning gay, lesbian, bisexual, and LGBTQ people and things that pertain to our lives and our experiences. So please subscribe. Now, I remember admiring certain women on TV, and I really liked Aunt Viv, the original Aunt Viv on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I loved Felicia Rashad, who uh, who played uh, the mother on the Cosby Show as Claire Huxtable. These were uh, very prominent figures in the entertainment industry as far as television, as far as being considered pioneers or role models for Black women or Black families. And I've always appreciated family structure. And I believe that God ordains families. And I was well aware that these people were heterosexual couples and they were married. They represented marriage on TV back in the days. And nowadays, not so much. But I believe showing love in marriage is important. But at that time, I could have never imagined that I would see a lesbian or a gay couple on TV single and definitely not married in a same gender loving partnership, because gay marriage was not even heard of at that time. It wasn't until the year of 2015, which was not that long ago, that gay marriage was law. And we're still actually looking to see if there's going to be changes in regards to gay marriage still being considered a federal law or marriage due to the circumstances of society today with politics and things of that nature. And we, of course, know about Roe versus Wade being overturned in different states. We also know about now people actually have the right to reject customers who identify as gay, lesbian, or LGBTQ to service them with their business. So things are still changing, and the change is not necessarily progressive. It's like the world going backwards instead of forwards. But regarding television, yes, it is still primarily heterosexual representation, and heterosexual representation has always been represented and displayed through television up until this day. But I never saw people like myself being lesbian or gay on TV. And then I remember the first movie that I saw that had a lesbian couple in it. It was a lesbian Black couple. And the name of the movie was The Women of Brewster's Place. And it starred Oprah Winfrey and many other great actresses. But the actress that stood out to me was Lynette McKee. And she played a lesbian actress on The Women of Brewster's Place. And I remember just being fascinated with her role and her lesbian partner's role. And it was something that stayed on my mind. I was very happy to see for the first time in my life two women who were in a relationship. And I was a child looking at this, and it made me so happy, and I felt a sense of relief that there were lesbians, Black lesbians, women who looked like me. And I said, why is this not on regular TV? I had to, you know, see this on cable or go to the movie theaters. I don't remember if it was in the movie theaters or not. It may have been, that was so long ago, but I just remember seeing it on cable, not on regular TV. That means you had to pay to watch. So it was hard to come across this information. Now, there was another movie that had lesbian representation in it, but it happened so fast you could barely catch it, and that was The Color Purple. Of course, Whoopi Goldberg, she starred as the actress Celie, and there's a scene depicted where she is being kissed by another woman, and that's as far as it goes. It doesn't have any type of long dialogue focus on their lesbian relationship. But I read the book, The Color Purple, years ago. And the author, Alice Walker, is a Black lesbian woman. And she, of course, gave more details in her book because she's a lesbian author. But as I got older and learned, I said, of course, they wouldn't put all of the details on screen because I do know The Color Purple was in the movie theaters, but they wouldn't put that, even all those details on screen. And we're talking the 80s, 90s, these decades, which technically was still under 50 years ago. So it's still pretty modern. And just to know that it was hard to find representation of lesbian, gay, and LGBTQ people, it was interesting to me. And people were not able to see other people who looked like them, who could relate to them. And that always stayed on my mind. Now, do I believe that the television influenced me to want to be a lesbian? My answer would be no, because before I even saw someone on TV, I was a lesbian. And as I mentioned, I only had TV in my house. We weren't paying for cable. So the first time I saw a lesbian person on TV was through cable where you had to pay for it. And I was at somebody else's house. And then you could see it maybe on one movie every 10 years. So it definitely didn't cause me to want to be gay, or it didn't make me think about becoming gay, because I believe sexuality is inborn. It is predestined. I like to say that I am predestined to be a lesbian. You heard that here first. And I really believe the only thing that TV did for me was when I saw someone who was lesbian like me, it was a relief. It was like excelling, like Whitney Houston said in Excel, her song Excel Shoop Shoop from the Waiting to Excel movie and soundtrack. It was like excelling because waiting to excel, like finally, I see someone who is like me. I don't believe people really think about how lesbian and gay children feel when their parents talk about gay people around them in a negative light. And if they see example for example, there was a movie that just came out, I believe earlier this year, Buzz Lightyear, and it was the first time they showed a lesbian character. I think it was a lesbian couple on Buzz Lightyear, and there was so much negativity and pushback, and many people just angry about the Buzz Lightyear movie displaying a lesbian couple in the film. And they were saying that even though it's an animated film, it's for children, and that children shouldn't be exposed to the homosexual lifestyle. And I remember commenting on my social media, uh, I explained that many of these parents are using their children as an excuse to berate and to insult gay and lesbian people. They're hiding behind their children, saying that their children are innocent and they shouldn't be exposed to homosexuality on the TV, and definitely not in movie theaters or on the internet. The truth is, the child is innocent, whether the child is heterosexual or homosexual or bisexual. The child is innocent, and the child is already going to have their own sexual orientation. Their sexual orientation is not determined by their mother or father being heterosexual. And as much as a parent likes to fight to protect their children from seeing gay people on the TV or on the big screen in the movie theaters, or seeing their children get on the internet and scrolling social media, and oh my God, there's gay people on there. Let's hide the kids from the gays. That message screams discrimination. It screams bigotry. It screams prejudice, homophobia, biphobia from parents who have a problem with homosexuality, not the children. Children are going to grow up and learn from themselves what's real and what's not real. And the only thing I would say is be, as a parent, as a caregiver, be a positive influence in your child's life. And you don't have to worry about the television or the internet or what's on the movie screen is going to destroy your child's life. No, being a mature, loving parent is what's going to help your child's life, not keeping them from watching TV, or keeping them off the internet because you're afraid the gay and the lesbian and the LGBTQ community is going to infiltrate your children's minds and turn them gay, because that's just not the truth. If your child is watching TV, you should be monitoring what they're doing and what they're seeing, and it shouldn't be based upon making sure that your child doesn't turn into a homosexual. That's not good parenting. Good parenting is allowing your child to be themselves, because they're going to be gay or lesbian or bisexual or LGBTQ. They probably already are. And more than likely, you know it. And that's probably why you're so angry and why you're fighting so hard against LGBTQ people. And you're probably out there picketing and probably trying to go to every conference and go vote against LGBTQ because you don't want to see us have rights. We're human beings. And just from my experience of being a child and being able to see representation of myself as a lesbian, gay, or LGBTQ person, it didn't harm me. Just like watching heterosexual people on the TV did not harm me. I am accepting of people. I don't just look at people and their sexual orientation and decide whether I approve of them or not. All that matters is, what is the message behind the television show that you're watching? What is the reason and the intention of you watching the television show or being on the internet? If it's going to benefit your life, then why try to keep your children or anyone away from it? Because honestly, adults are on the TVs, they're on the internet, and then they're in the movie theaters. So really, who are you really trying to protect? It doesn't seem like you're really trying to protect your children. It sounds like you're an adult who has an issue with other adults who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, or LGBTQ. Because when I was looking at TV, there were no children on there. They were adults. If there were children, they were displayed as being in a heterosexual household. With our lives as LGBTQ people, we like to see ourselves on the TVs. We like to see ourselves in the movies. We like to see ourselves on the internet, on social media, because we have different experiences and we have different lives. But it doesn't mean that we're wrong for being ourselves. And just like I had to look at heterosexual people on TV, nobody complained about me looking at heterosexual people on TV. But as soon as someone who is lesbian or gay or LGBTQ shows on the television screen, then adults make it out to be an issue when really there's no issue at all. Is TV and the internet making people gay? More like people who are complaining about gay, lesbian, and LGBTQ people being on TV and the internet being a problem. Don't make an issue out of nothing. Gay, lesbian, LGBTQ representation in film, TV, and media is very important. And it should always be, because that's what real diversity is. That's what reality really is. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name is Giselle Wallace, lesbian life coach and author. Like and share my content. Thank you for listening.